the Cards and Comic Show. Hey, welcome back to Cards and Comics, episode 3 of the new show. Alright, we got a really big agenda for you today. Look at this, I got 7 topics today. 6 last week, so that's +1. Alright, so we're going to go to the intro, we're going to do roll call, we're going to do mail, which is viewer mail, news update, my collection spotlight, my top 5 comic picks of the week, and my mail day. Alright, so we'll go into roll call. So I'm present, me, and Bob's here, and he's got the mail day. Alright, Bob, how much email do I have to answer today? None. I don't have one goddamn email.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Alright. Well, if I don't have any mail to show, I do want to kind of talk about my channel. And one of the things I think that's held me back from really succeeding as a internet YouTuber, card and comic guru is I don't do the face on my thumbnails. And I've searched deep in my soul and I've decided I cannot make the face. So that I know that it's really important to the algorithm if I make that face. So I've decided to showcase all the other much cooler YouTubers making the face in a video montage set to a song I really like. So here we go.
Oh, oh, oh. You know what I'm talking about. Oh.
In breaking hobby news, it appears that we're all going to be billionaires.
Well, Kelly, thanks to the surge of live stream sports card sales on Instagram, TikTok, and focus sites, the sports card trading market is projected to grow from $14 billion in 2019 to nearly $100 billion by the year 2027. That's according to verified market research. One of the biggest sports memorabilia auction houses, called Golden, it says its index, which tracks sales of thousands of cards, is up over 1,000% since 2008.
In the latest breaking comic book hobby news, it appears that Y: The Last Man has been canceled halfway through its first season. Now this is making a lot of people either very happy or very sad. You can look at YouTube and see many people commenting about the show and the reason why it either failed or should have been continued for either being too woke or not woke enough. However, what we really care about is the price of the comic books. And so if you go down here, you can see at the very bottom here, this comic book was bringing between $1,500 and $1,800 in July. And the last one sold tonight brought $661. So you can see a major free fall for this comic book. Now, it's a great comic book and a great series. Maybe it'll get a second season. Maybe it'll get a different adaptation. However, for people who invest in this book, it's turned out to be a pretty big disappointment. This just in, breaking hobby news. It's been determined that the downtown inserts, yes, they still suck. Alright, moving on to our next hobby segment. We're going to go on to my collection spotlight. Okay, my collection spotlight for the week is the 1968 Topps Action All-Star stickers, Roberto Clemente and a PSA 5. This card is extremely rare, and in fact, it's rarer than the 68 Topps 3D Clemente, which is worth a ton of money compared to this card. I'm going to show you the population report, and I'm going to show you the pricing for this card, and just show you sort of how rare it is. But even if it was worth as much as the 68 3D, it is one of my favorite oddball Clemente cards from the 60s. It's a really cool card, and it's a really cool set. And I'll show you some of the details, and we'll get into some of the numbers. All right? Alright guys, so I'm on baseballcard.com, which is a really cool site that has a lot of information about these older sets. Now, it's a little out of date in terms of its metrics or its numbers, but it still has a lot of good useful information about the set itself. So the set talks about that this set came out when Topps is going through tons and tons of experimental design. So it came out with, you know, the poster set, the 3D cards, the plaques, disc, punch out. So this was a really innovative and experimental time for Topps. So these cards were issued in wax packs and boxes. So there's the wax box here, and there's the pack. There were 3 panels per card, and they were perforated and attached to each other. Now, PSA will not grade the entire panel because it's too big. They don't have a holder for it. So you will have to detach the cards to get them graded. And if you detach the cards, you have to do them a very specific way, so as if you cut the cards away from each other in the way that PSA doesn't like, meaning cut the entire tab off or the perforation off, they won't grade it. They'll consider it trimmed or altered. So you have to be very careful how to do this. The cards are about the size as the 64 Topps Giant cards, so therefore they're in the bigger holders. And again, the 3 card panels were done in such a way that the middle panel always had a single player, and then the top 2 panels had these kind of like 3 cards or 3 stickers per panel. Again, the set's very expensive, and you can see that some of the card designs are very, very pretty. One of the coolest sets from the 60s. Now, how rare is this set? Well, let's go to the population report. Go to the population report for the 68 Action All-Star stickers. You'll see that in totality there's 492 cards that have been graded. And in there's 556 in total, of which 492 have been given, let's say, a standard grade 28 with a 0.5 grade and 36 qualifiers. So that's how that works. So 556 cards total, of which only 32 have gotten a straight grade of a 7 or 8, and 3 7s have got a 0.5. Now my card is card 12, and it's a PSA 5. So you go down to card 12, and you'll see that there's only been 23 Roberto Clemente cards graded straight, 1 qualifier and 1 half grades, for a total of 25 cards. So 25 cards have only been graded for my Roberto Clemente. I have a PSA 5, of which there's only 4 of and only 1 higher. The 7 OC would grade the exact same in the population report as a 5. So to me, and I don't think an OC card is as desirable as a straight grade, so I think the 5 I have would be worth more than the 7 OC. But it's pretty cool. I have one of the 4 5s, and the only one card really is higher in the pop report. Now, you know, we talked about 68 3D, so let's go and look at that population report. So there's 25, 556 and 25. Now if I go to 68 Topps 3D, there's 719, so there's actually more Topps 3D cards that have been graded, and they're in much better condition. You can see the majority of the cards are 7, 8s, and 9s, even a lot of 10s. So the Clemente card, there's been 62 graded versus 25. So there's been over twice as many 68 3D Clementes graded in a much higher grade than my Action All-Star that I have. That's a 5. Now, if you look at pricing, now on this chart here, I've got the PSA 5 listed. So there it is, the Action All-Star, beautiful card. I've got the 5, and I bought it right here at $586. And it's sold as high as $875. Last sale $720, but that was 2 years ago. And that was before prices have really spiked. This card is extremely rare. I don't know how much it would bring, but if you look at a similar card, the 68 3D, I think you're going to find that, you know, I haven't looked prices up in a little bit, but I do know, we'll see if we can, there it is, Topps 3D, and I do know that the Clemente is an incredibly expensive card, so I've tried to buy it a few times. I just don't know what the current prices are. But you can see a 5 is worth $8,562. That's the last sale, and that was in 2018. It's gone up as high as $12,000 before. You know, in 7s and 8s are bringing $20,000 and $30,000. So that PSA 5 I bought for $565 or something, you know, highest sell was, you know, not even $1,000. So you can see that it's a really rare card. Now, popularity matters a lot. Obviously, the 68 3Ds have a lot more history on their side, and a lot more people want them. That's why the prices are so high. But it's just an interesting thing to look at, and it's a cool set. And I really hope that people, you know, look at those cards and look at the population reports and just how pretty the cards are, and maybe that set will start to grow in value. But I just want to make people aware of it. It's a very cool set, very cool card. And now we're going to move on to my top 5 comic book cover picks of the week. And all 5 of these comic book covers I am purchasing and I'm going to add to my collection. So I'm going to show it to you right now. Now for my top 5 comic book cover picks of the week, for the week of October 18th, 2021. This week was pretty good. A lot of the other people making these kind of lists have said this is kind of a rough week. You know, there's not a lot of first out there that are like amazing. I think there was a few things like that I don't care about. You know, like there was a bunch of Red Sonja books. There was a bunch of Betty Page books out there. Purgatory was, you know, a book that was out there with a lot of covers. But I don't really enjoy, you know, a lot of horror books and those kind of books. You know, that kind of cheesecake book. So this week was a little tight for me, but I found 5 covers I really liked, and we'll go into them. So number 5, it is a Hall of Comics store exclusive. It's a Journey into Mystery number 83 Homage, and it's got the Mighty Throg, which is the Thor frog cover. Now there's 2 other Throg covers out there that are pretty cool as well, including the cover A. But however, I really like this version because A, it shows him doing something other than just standing there, and it's also a really cool throwback cover. And as far as value goes, you can still buy them, and they're actually on sale right now on their website. So if you really want to get this cover, it's available. You can get it in a 5-pack, a single, or get the CBCS 9.8. $25 for the cover A, or the base cover. And to me, it's cool, and it's worth $25 because, you know, it's a store exclusive. So support your stores, and if you like it, go and grab it. Next up, number 4, Dune House of Atreides 1 in 50 Virgin variant, Qistina Kahlidah cover. And so with Dune just coming out in theaters this week, and also on HBO Max, this book, I think, just Dune books in general are cool, and this one is, I think, a really nice cover. I just like the use of color and the symmetry of it. It's actually not, I couldn't find any eBay sales yet for this book. Obviously, it's not a huge series in terms of numbers sold, so it makes sense that nothing's on eBay yet, as people are probably just getting these kind of books in. So we'll see. But I like it, and I made number 4 on my list. Huge Dune fan, so I threw it on there. Next up is a really cool book, Nubia and the Amazons. This is the cardstock variant cover by Joshua Soy, so it's not hard to get. It's like a cover B, not really rare. Just a very striking image. It's just awesome, a lot of just great artwork here for this character. On eBay, it's going $5 to $8. You got to pay shipping as well. So again, $5 is cover price, but you're paying $4 to $5 to ship as well. So selling for $8 with $4 shipping, you're paying $12 for the book. So go out and try to find it locally. I'm sure you can. This book isn't really rare, but it's a cool book. Number 2. So Death of Doctor Strange, cover 2D. And so this is sort of a venomized version of Doctor Strange, and I think it's a really cool book. I know it's been done to death, but it's just a really, really fun book. R.B. Silva is the cover artist, and it's going for $8 to $15 on eBay. It's actually doing pretty well, in my opinion. For this book so far out of the gate. And it's going to be one of those covers that I think people will hold interest, as most venomized books like this, especially the harder to find ones, or the ones that slip through the cracks, sometimes get bigger numbers throughout the year. So this might be one just to get and hold. And my number 1 book, and for me, is a pretty easy one. It's Phoenix Song Echo number 1, the 1 in 25 dealer variant. I'm a huge believer in this character. I really love all Native American characters. I'm a collector of Native American books, especially Golden Age, and this character has always been cool. I like the design. The 1 in 25 variant is just a really cool looking book. It's already seeing prices of $40 to $50 on eBay. Pretty strong price right off the bat. So again, it's for me, it hits a lot of buttons. It's a character alike. It's a Native American book, and it's a 1 in 25 variant, which I think is just rare enough that it's going to make this book hold some value. And that is my top 5 comic book covers of the week. Let me know your thoughts on which ones you bought this week, and see what you think about my picks. And we'll move on to Mail Day. All right, welcome back. Well, hope you enjoyed all that crazy content. Now I'm back with my Mail Day. I have some really cool stuff. Not much on the cards, a little more on the comics. So if you're not into the comics, you might call it an early day. But hey, first up here is a really cool 2000 Topps Traded Barry Zito certified autograph PSA Bin 9. Very cool auto. I love this set, and I love all these early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s autograph sets. In fact, Griffey, my favorite Griffey cards of all time are from like 98, 99, and 2000 in terms of autographs. Obviously, I love the Finest Refractor stuff, and that's, starting in 93, but, for autograph sake, his autographs were really cool in 98, 99. So, Barry Zito, I like the whole set, so I'm going to get the whole set. Next up is a really weird card, but I picked it up because I really like the set, which is 74 Peachy, which this set's super difficult to find. They used really cheap paper that year, so all the cards have issues from a paper cutting, flaking, just damage perspective, but they're also horribly off-center. So this one is okay. It's top to bottom, but this whole set's just really difficult, and this particular card is also very difficult. So entire set's tough. So I have some really cool 74 Peachies. If you look at my 70s Hall of Fame video, you'll see I have quite a few 74 Peachies, such as the Dave Winfield rookie card, and I think I have the Reggie Jackson playing card, so I have some really cool ones. All right, that ends the very brief card section, and we're going to move on to comic books. Now, here is my second copy of this book. This is the Iron Man 12 Miles Morales 10-year anniversary cover. The DJ Raza variant, and this is my second copy, and so I really love the books. I'm getting some more copies in it because I think it's a really cool book and it's got some good potential. Next up is a book I highlighted in one of my previous videos, which is the DC Festival of Heroes Asian Superhero Celebration. So this is Monkey Prince variant number 1. This book is really thick, so this is literally like a graphic novel. So these books are really, really thick. So I like the cover, cool character, and something's happened. Now, this book here is a book I picked up because for 2 reasons. One, I picked up issues 2 through 5 at a local comic book store, and I just thought, well, I mean, I want all the issues that are cool and matter, and it's a cool series, and I love the artwork, and so I've been on a big Harley and Ivy kick ever since I watched the HBO Max animated, and this is one of the cooler series featuring the 2 of them, and yeah. Speaking of Poison Ivy, here is a book I didn't really know much about, these Joker's Asylum books from 2008, but they all have really cool covers. There's a Harley cover. There's some really cool covers in this series. This is my favorite, the Poison Ivy. Just a really, really cool cover of Poison Ivy. And again, I just like the artwork. And it's worth a little money, but not as much. And here is a really cool, from the New 52. So a lot of the Wonder Woman books had a black and white variant that just, was the ink, black and white ink version of the cover. This is a Finch cover, obviously with the eagles and just, this classic cover of Wonder Woman. These black and white covers are rare. They're a little harder to find, and I think at one point they were pretty expensive, like $30-40, and they've gotten down. In some cases you can get them for $20 or cheaper. I think they're all great pickups. I think in the future these kind of books are going to be hard to find, especially in high grade. So I picked this one up when it got cheap enough. Here's a book from this week's pull list. This is the Joe Jusko Amazing Spider-Man 75, and this is the Hobgoblin Jusko variant. Obviously a very cool book in terms of just composition. The Jusko books, like I've said in my last week, I didn't put any Jusko books actually for this week. This was a book from last week. I didn't like the Jusko book this week. It's very hit and miss with me, but when he hits it out of the ballpark. I had the Submariner book on my pick list last week, and this week this is the Hobgoblin Jusko, and it's awesome. Awesome book, really like it. And then also from this week is Batman Urban Legends number 8. Really love this cover. I really think that this is Doran cover. I just like it's the little details for me. The screaming skulls and the how it plays up into her costume. The hair, just the how it's framed. Just a really, really cool book. And so, I really think, and again, these Urban Legend books, Fear State Urban Legends, are thicker, so therefore they're going to be harder to keep in good shape. And again, this isn't the super rare cover. I believe it's the cover A. But I found, some of these cover A's actually are doing very well in the market if they're the best cover. And so this one, obviously, to me, is the best cover. Great presentation. And these Urban Legend books have been, obviously there's been a few stories picked up, like the Robin bisexual story. So they're a little bit hotter now than they were before. But yeah, so that's the mail day. I've got some really, really cool cards coming in. That's why my card mail day was very light. I've worked on some trades and some deals. I've got some, bigger cards coming in. And also, these are cards that I'm going to be crossing over. to PSA once, I think in November when PSA's regular submissions come back. I'm a member. I'm going to sub, and these are going to be some cards I'm going to crack and submit, and so you'll see what I got. And then I'm going to do a video about that as well, get you ready for that sub, cracking the cards, and show you how I do it, the process of cracking and resubbing. So it's coming up. Hopefully you guys had a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.